question I often get asked by piano players is how do you play both the melody and the chords in your right hand? When we just play a single note melody with a bass line, it can often feel quite bare and empty because it's missing all that harmony that really brings the music to life. As piano players, we want to be able to create rich, full-sounding arrangements where all aspects of the music are taken care of. This is the video that you all voted for on the channel earlier on this week. So as promised, I'm going to show you a 5-step method for how you can completely transform your playing in your right hand so you can play chords and melodies at the same time. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you some sneaky tricks for how you can really get creative with all these ideas and make them your own. Let's dive in. Okay, we're going to do this with the song Amazing Grace, and I wanted to choose a song that people are kind of already a little bit familiar with. It's likely that you will have heard this song, or you might even know it really well. I'm going to take you through all of this step by step, and there are quite a few steps to go through, okay, if you really want to learn this. And I'm not teaching you how to do this by rote, or what we call a parrot fashion, or whatever that phrase is. I'm teaching you how to kind of do it for yourself, the steps I'd go through if I wanted to sit down and play a full piano arrangement. There are a few steps, so bear with me. But the first step is to get the key. We're going to do this in F major. There's our F major scale. It's got one flat, which is B flat, but this song actually is what we call a pentatonic melody, which means that it only uses notes from the pentatonic scale. So the pentatonic scale is this: 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Okay, so in the key of F, that would be F, G, A, C, and D. There are so many pentatonic melodies. This is a classic example. And what we're going to do is play that Amazing Grace melody just using our little finger in our right hand. And this is going to feel really weird to do, okay? It's going to feel a bit odd, but just bear with me. It's because eventually the rest of our hand is going to be playing that chord. So the melody needs to be taken care of in our little finger. So let's give it a go. This is what it sounds like. Now there's quite a lot there with that pentatonic melody. It's quite a lot to kind of get under your fingers. So if you want to follow along at home, there's a free PDF lesson book which you can download. The link is in the video description. It's got every single step written out with all the notes, all the notation. So you can kind of follow along really carefully with what I'm doing. Go and grab that. It's completely free. I'm now going to have a go at adding some chords. Okay, now before we even think about adding the melody as well, we need to work out what those chords are. This is kind of like a method for working stuff out by ear. I do this all the time, okay? This is essentially how I work. I will try and hear something, listen to it, work out the melody, work out the chords, work out the bass line, and then put them all together, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a molding of all those different elements. What we're trying to do at the moment is separate all those elements out, so we really got them kind of clear. Let's have a go at adding some chords. Now, there's a really simple framework for working out the chords of a song. Okay, what you have to do, you have to boil it down. Now, we talk a lot about this on the channel, where you have to kind of take everything and simplify it. Okay, and one of the ways you can do that is by using what we call primary triads. Now, this is kind of one of the first things you get taught in music theory, but it is really useful. It's the triads in a key that can essentially harmonize any melody in its bare form. Now, when people play the song Amazing Grace, when they're improvising, you know, with gospel players or whoever playing it, they will put in so many what we call substitutions. They might go loads of chords going on all the time. It's like all of this rich harmony. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of remove all of the layers of all of that harmony, all of that stuff that's going on, and go back to the song in its barest form, its simplest form, just using the primary triads, chords 1, 4, and 5 in a key. So in the key of F, F would be chord 1, B flat would be chord 4, and C would be chord 5. So we should be able to harmonize the song Amazing Grace just using those chords. And we're going to kind of do this by ear, and I'm going to talk you through it, right? So we're going to go apologies, I'm gonna sing the melody just so we can follow along. I'm not gonna try and play it at the same time. I'm just gonna sing it so we can work out that underlying harmonic framework. So it goes, amazing grace. So it starts on chord 1. We're in the key of F. We're starting on that home chord. It's then gonna go to chord 4. How sweet the sound. So we're just rocking between chords 1 and 4 to begin with, okay? F and B flat. It's then gonna go, that saved, stay on 1, 1, then 5. That's where we're gonna use that C chord, okay? Listen what would happen if I used a 4 chord just at that point. That saved a wretch like me. Sort of works. Kind of sounds quite sort of warm, but actually that's the chord we want there. The melody is actually on a C, like me, and that's where we're going to put that C chord in. So far we've got amazing grace, and then chord 4, chord 1, chord 1, chord 1, chord 5. Okay, let's keep on going. I hope this is making sense. Then this goes to chord 1. I once was lost. Then it goes to chord 4. But now I'm found. See, it's kind of similar to that intro where we go between 1, 4, and 1. It then stays on 1. I was blind, but now it goes to chord 5. That's kind of a little moment. Now I see. We're going to end on 4 and go back to 1. By the way, one of the things people often ask me is, why do I talk about chords 1, 4, and 5 when it's a lot easier just to call them F, B flat, and C? Well, the reason is, if you call them chords 1, 4, and 5, it makes it so much easier when you want to put something into a different key. If you learn a song completely just using the chord names, you're going to be so limited because you're only going to be able to play it in that key. As soon as you start thinking in terms of numbers and kind of the kind of relationship of where those chords are in the key, it's going to really free you up further down the line. You have to kind of trust me on that. In the short term, it's easier to think of the chord symbols, but in the long term, really start thinking about the numbers. It will completely change the way you think about music. Okay, so we've now got that harmonic framework and that melody. Now, there's a simple little trick that I use when I'm kind of working with piano players that are trying to get this down, and it's called Tune-Chord-Tune. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of this before. I think I came up with it, but I might have nicked it from somewhere. I don't know. It's one of those things that sort of you just kind of do and then forget where you learnt it. What you do is you play the tune first. Okay, so I'll give you an example, right? So that's the chord. So there's a little bit of tune, then a chord, and then you play the tune again. Tune, chord, tune, chord, tune, chord, tune, chord. Does that make sense? Just watch my right hand here, okay? That's the area to focus on. I'll do it again. Tune, chord, tune, chord, tune, chord, tune, chord. And it's actually, when I'm saying the word chord, I'm still playing the tune. It's that the top note of my voicing is actually playing that melody note. Do you see? Do you see that? The F is the melody note on that first phrase. Tune, chord, it's there. So it's quite a lot to do that all in one step. What we're going to do is we're actually just going to play the chords. We're going to leave out all those little fiddly bits of tune for a little bit later. We're going to leave that till later, okay? So let me show you what this would look like. I'll sing the tune as well so you can hear it. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. There it all is, okay? You might want to... There is that little button you can press on the YouTube video where you can slow it down to different speeds. It really might help with something like this if you just want to follow what I'm doing a little bit or really go even slower. I'm going to do the next section just so you can follow along. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Sorry, I should know the lyrics. Apologies for that. Lots of durring and lawing a little bit here. But I'll just play all of that for you so you can hear it. I won't sing this time, so you can really just hear what the piano's doing. Here we go. That's the first half. Here's the second half. Some of you might have spotted that I've actually tweaked one of those chords there. It's in the final few bars. In this section, 'twas blind, but now. That one there, F over C. Okay, rather than just doing a straight C triad, I've actually made it F over C. I think that sounds really nice. Going to B flat and then back to F. One of the things people often ask me is, how do you know when to move on in some of these tutorials? How do you know whether you're ready to take on the next step? Well, I'd really recommend getting that down before you try this next step, okay? If you can play the tune on its own and you can play the harmonic framework, those chords with that melody note at the top in your little finger, you're going to find this next section so much easier, because we're now going to put together the tune with those chords in one hand. So I'll talk you through it. Here it is. Tune, chord, tune, chord, tune, chord, tune, chord. I'm not going to keep on saying tune chord all the way through. It might get a little bit annoying, but you can see all the way through this, I'm literally just doing that pattern, tune chord, tune chord. Let's carry on. So it's going to now be a bit of tune. Here's the second half. Tune, chord, tune, chord. See it? There it is. And you notice at the end, that F stays kind of ringing on at the top, and we go from the B flat, and then these notes shift to give us that F chord. Okay, so it's like the melody stays there, but the chord shifts underneath. I'm going to have a go now at playing this through with a backing track I've created. The backing track is also included in that download, so you can practice this at home as well. I'm going to add in that left hand, and we're going to go all the way through doing that sequence we just played. Let's give it a go. Now, at the beginning of the video, I promised to show you some little tricks, some little creative tips of how you can really make this your own. At the moment, it sounds quite static, doesn't it? There's not a lot moving. It's like dum, 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 you know, like a march or something like that. You know, it's got that kind of repetitive kind of feel to it. We want something that kind of makes it sound a little bit more flowing in the accompaniment style. And a really quick way you can add this in is by using your thumb as a kind of launch into the chord. Let me show you what I mean, right? So, do you see that? So, what I was doing before was just going straight to the chord. But now what I'm doing is I'm using that thumb just to kind of preempt the next little section. Thumb. There. It's almost blink and you miss it. Thumb. It kind of just gives it that extra bit of movement, that extra bit of energy. It really just propels that music forward. I'll keep going. I did a little chord trick there, sorry about that. Another thing we can do is add in a few more chords here, okay, to make it a little bit more varied, get it out of that 1, 4, and 5 sound. So at the end, I think we should do what we call a McCartney Walkdown. I don't know if you remember on the channel, a little while ago, I did a piano power-ups video where I broke down a little trick Paul McCartney uses at the end of the intro to Let It Be. So I'll play the intro in F, which is the key we're doing Amazing Grace in. Normally Let It Be's in C, but I'll transpose it up to F. So it goes... This bit here. And in that video, I called it the McCartney Walkdown. It's a little bit higher compared to where I normally sing it. It's where it's normally in C. It's a bit lower for me, but that's a little bit high. But there it is. So we're going to add that McCartney Walkdown to the end of our arrangement of Amazing Grace. So, for example, it's going to go here towards the end. So that is our McCartney Walkdown, the McCartney Walkdown. And I'm voicing it, I'm keeping that melody note at the top, but those little passing chords, that walkdown, it goes B flat, chord 4, to F over A, to G minor 7, and to F. Okay, I'll just play that again. Again, that melody note is just staying where it is and the chords are moving underneath. The reason why I'm teaching you all of these little harmonic tricks is because I want you to think of them like tools in a toolbox. When you're playing your own arrangements of songs, not necessarily that you've learned off sheet music where all of the notes are written out for you, but maybe you've got like a chord chart or you've worked out a song by ear and you want to create your own piano arrangement. These are little devices that you can use to kind of make that song your own, make your own arrangement, vary it up, get creative with it. And that is really what I'm trying to push on this channel, empowering people who are watching these videos to kind of really get creative on the piano and not always feel like they have to play everything the same every single time they play it. I remember when I was growing up and I was learning piano, I often got told off by my piano teacher because I'd play it differently every time. And I always used to look at that as a negative thing, or it was always presented to me as a very negative thing. It was like, no, you must learn to play it exactly like it is. But actually I've realized over time that being able to play something differently every time you play it, to make it organic, to make it flow, and to kind of put your own spin on things is actually a bit of a, it's kind of your USP. You should be very proud if you're one of those people that do change things up, because it's a great way to be, and it means that you're really in control of the music you're playing, which is really exciting. And I want everyone who's watching these videos to kind of get in control of the music they're playing, get really creative on the keys. So that's why I'm showing you all these little techniques. And you know what? I might be getting a bit carried away now, but I'm going to add in a few more little things. I'm going to add in another walk down, okay? And I was going to make a separate video about this because it happens in so many songs. But let me show you. It's going to happen at the end. It's going to go... Check this. Now something weird's going on there, right? I'm using an E flat in my left hand. I'm walking down the notes kind of F major, but I've changed the 7th note of F major from an E natural to an E flat. I'm kind of using a little hinting at what we call the Mixolydian mode here. Don't worry too much about this for the moment. Don't worry about the theory. Just really try and get the sound for the moment. It's one of those chords that really makes you feel you're going on a bit of a journey. Do you see that? So the chords are F. So it goes I, F to F over E flat. Okay, hinting at that Mixolydian mode, F over E flat, then it goes to B flat over D, then to F over C. And it just kind of varies it up, gets it out of that kind of 1, 4, and 5 space, moves it on a little bit, kind of makes it feel that the song is coming to an end. I'll do it once more. What we're going to do, sorry, I'm getting a little bit carried away now, but we're going to go D minor 7 And then we're going to go F over C to B flat with the McCartney Walkdown. Now, there is a lot of stuff there. I've completely changed it up. But do you notice our right hand has stayed completely the same? All we've changed is that bass line. Watch this. Just stayed the same. It's the left hand that's kind of really altered that harmony. Yeah. There it is. Okay, nice. Now, before we play it all through, I'm going to show you one more little chord trick that you can use. I know I've covered so much ground in this video, so do feel free to rewind it, go over it, check it all out, because there's a lot of stuff in here. But I'm going to show you one more trick that you can use. It's kind of a way of adding tension the first time you play a song through like this, okay? Particularly a song with a pentatonic melody. It's kind of a way of adding just a bit of tension, like something's coming before you kind of unleash all of those chords we worked on and that whole kind of full piano arrangement. What we're going to do is we're going to put everything over a pedal, and we're going to do a pedal on the one. If you're not sure what a pedal is, there are kind of two types of pedal. There's a pedal on the one, sometimes known as a tonic pedal, set in the key of F. It would mean you put everything over an F. Your right hand would kind of stay the same, but your left hand would just be playing an F down below, kind of holding that one of the key. You also get pedals on the 5, which in the key of F would be a C. We're just going to stick with the 1 though, okay? So we're going to play everything over that 1. Have a listen what it sounds like. It just kind of, the main bones of the song are there, but it doesn't feel like it's completely kind of opened up yet. It feels like it's quite a static version of the song. See if you can hear what I mean. That's such a lovely chord, C over F. I love that one. Do you hear that? It's just like the song's kind of happening, but it's like there's something missing. It's all that root movement. The bass line is missing. And by taking that away and putting it all over that 1, over that F, it just keeps everything really still and kind of paves the way for something different which is coming down the line. I'm going to have a go at playing all of this through, okay? It's got it all written out in that PDF download so you can really follow along. We're going to start off by playing with that pedal. Then we're going to go into all those chord changes with the McCartney Walkdown, the Mixolydian little trick we looked at, the little thumb technique to get a bit more movement in your right hand. Let's give it a go. Let's play it along with the backing track. Keeping it really still over that pedal. Then the walk down. Here we go. Mixolydian. Woo. D minor. Then the McCartney Walkdown. Last 2 bars up high. Then that walk down. Let's do a low one. Before the end of the video, I just want to say an absolutely huge thank you to all of you out there watching these videos and supporting the channel. We crossed over the 20,000 subscriber mark this week, which is just unbelievable. I only started uploading these videos in January. It seems like yesterday, and now there's a whole bunch of content for people to go and check out when they discover the channel. I just want to say a huge thank you for liking the videos, commenting on them. People email me as well and get in touch. I love hearing from all of you, so do kind of reach out. I sent an email out a little while ago about a Q&A video I'm going to be doing. I was completely inundated with replies. I couldn't quite believe how many people responded. So I'm working my way through all of those replies. I'm replying to every single one. So if you haven't received a reply just yet, hold on tight, it's coming. Yeah, thank you for all this support. I've recently gone full-time on this channel. I'm now working completely on the Keys Coach. I want to develop it into an amazing creative platform for people to learn piano. I think there's a real space for people to learn piano in a way that doesn't necessarily follow the traditional methods and is fun and gets you playing piano right away, whilst also understanding the theory and also the oral skills that come with playing piano. It's really important to kind of develop your ears as well as your skills on the piano, because then you can begin to play songs by ear and play in a much more kind of organic way where you're kind of in control of the music you're playing. So that's where I'm heading. I can't wait to see where it goes. Thanks so much for being on this journey with me. Don't forget to go and download your free PDF lesson book. It's got all of the notation for everything I've covered today. And I think you know what's coming, right? I do this every video, but here we go. If you like this video, I think you're going to love this video up here. Go give that a click, and I'll see you over there.